Okay, so Hilchos Mezuzah, Siman Yud Aleph, Sif Yud Beis. Yesh Shtei Mezuzahs. If you have two mezuzahs, again, mezuzah means the door post. That's a translation of mezuzah. Then the mashkuf, and it does not have a mashkuf. A mashkuf means I think they call it a lintel, right? For those of us that don't speak English or do speak English, it's the drop down from the ceiling. And the Shulchan kippah kimin keshes. What it is, it has a kippah, like an arch. Yes, thank you. Right? And looks like a bow. Oh yeah, if you look this ain't like, or if it doesn't even have mezuzah, ela shakipa, it's a gelas min haaretz, but the kippah is going up from the floor, meaning the arch starts on the floor. Meaning you could have an arch where the doorway goes up straight and then it goes round, or it could start round from the bottom. Yeah, like what? Like straight rainbow, yeah. The im yesh ba begoy basar tefachim roikav arba talking if the one that has the arch that when you get to 10 tefachim high, it's going to be 4 tefachim wide, meaning it still hasn't right. It's getting pointy gradually, right? So if it gets by the time you hit the 10 tefachim, it's still 4 tefachim wide, then it's chayiv in the mezuzah. Right, if there's stores that make a mezuzah, right, and it goes from the karka, from the ground, all the way to the mashka, and one mezuzah she'ena magia ala mashka that does not reach the mashka, raksha kointin es a koisel le'erach ama yoser. The koisel, the wall goes in around an amma or more, kazeh, like this, meaning the doorway. What I would think the way it happens is you have sometimes when you go inside a kitchen and there's kitchen cabinets, right? So there's kitchen cabinets on the bottom and nothing on the top. So it sort of creates like this weird doorway. On one side it's flat, and on the other side it has an indentation. The mezuzah, so the mashkaf himi yamin haknisa, it's on the right of the knisa. Then you could put the mezuzah on that mezuzah. But if the small mezuzah is on the right, if it's 10 tefachim high, you put the mezuzah there. Then you put it in the place that's wide. Okay, this is strange cases. It's basically that when you have a lopsided doorway, so then you're going to put it on depending on the situation. If it's 10 tefachim high, you're going to put it there. Yud Gimel. This Yud Gimel is a major din. Very negayah to those putting up mezuzahs when they should make brachas. Because there are those that say that even if there's no door in the doorway, chayiv mezuzah. And there are those that say that you dafka need, it has to have a door. If it doesn't have a door, meaning a door that let's call it swinging, right? Then you don't make a bracha. Meaning, if you have a new doorway and you're gonna be putting up a door, don't put up the mezuzah until you hang the door. You do. We paskin now. We paskin that you do. We paskin, you gotta put a mezuzah even if there's no door. But right. Yes. Correct. Yeah. So therefore, he's saying, if you're gonna be hanging a door, don't put up the mezuzah until you hang the door. And don't hang up the mezuzah and then put the door. Because you want to have the doorway, you want to have the chiyuv first, and then put up the mezuzah. Not the mezuzah and then the chiyuv. And by the same token, if you're putting up a mezuzah in a doorway that doesn't have a door, since it's a suffix, whether you need a mezuzah there, you do not make a bracha. Right? A lot of people make this mistake because they put up they're going to put up a new mezuzah, and it's a doorway between a living room and a dining room, which a lot of times, or between the dining room and a hallway, which a lot of times doesn't have a door. You don't make a bracha when you put that mezuzah up. Yudalit, bayis she'ena also l'dira b'kviyas. If you have a house that's not made to be lived in a kviyas, right? Potter, so then it's potter. What? No, it's a sukkah. No, it's really, so it doesn't mean like if you don't go into one room in your house. If it's a regular room in your house, even if you never go into it, like a guest room or something that you never go into, that still needs a mezuzah. Right? But what we're saying, it's a temporary house. The people of sukkah sachag b'chag, look on Yom Tov is potter. The pain oisam chanuya, shoisim b'yomit shukah. You have a pop-up store that you make it in the day of the shuk. We make meshach hayurid, and then you keep the pop-up store for the length of the sale, and then you take it down. Or you just leave it and there's nothing to do there. Kitzur and it's potter. That's a different thing. Correct. Right? But a store that's kavua to do business, then you chayav and mezuzah. So this comes up with tents. You have people that live in tents for long term. So regularly a tent is not a problem because it's not up for 30 days.
Are there normal people who live in tents? I'm saying there are people who live in tents long term.
Yeah, they go camping for a month or two.
Yeah.
I know by us in the bungalow.
What about in Sternberg?
Bungalow colony where they have there are people that don't have room in their bungalow and their kids sleep in the tent for 2 months.
Sternberg.
Sternberg. Yeah, it could be.
So there's an age group that they sleep in tents.
Is that so? The whole summer?
Yeah, like the 16 something, the 16-year-old girls sleep in tents.
Pay extra to sleep in the tent. Said in the showers you put on a mezuzah. So the pashtus from here, you have to put on a mezuzah. So I never heard of anybody putting a mezuzah on a tent. Okay. Tezvav, achsadra. So an achsadra, what? So achsadra is a porch. Sheyesh shalosh mechit has 3 walls, but tikra al gabein. It has a roof on top of it, uprutza v'nevius, and it's open on the 4th side. Apa pi sheyesh shtei petzim, and even if it's 2 side posts, tzuras pesach, like the tzura of a pesach, paturim v'mizuzah, paturim v'mizuzah, v'neisha petzim and loinasu v'neisha petzim and loinasu v'shum mizuzah, because the posts were not made to be mezuzahs. Ela k'dei lahamid atikra. It's there only to be maimed atikra. It's a very common question. When you have the front porch of a house, and you have posts that are holding up the porch. So if the posts are there to hold up the porch, then you don't make a bracha. It's not considered a doorway. If it's there for design, then you do make it. So somebody actually yesterday sent me a picture of he sent me a picture of the post of his porch. They had 3 posts. It looked to me like it was there it was a nice fancy design, but it looked to me like it was there to hold up the porch. And since it was there to hold up the porch, it said it doesn't need a mezuzah, right? That's if it only has mechitzas on 3 sides. But if it is a mechitzah on the 4th side, even though the mechitzas are low, and it doesn't reach until the roof. And even if there are windows, it's still chayev. Yeah. Okay. Test Zion, Beis Shar. This is also another common question. A Beis Shar really means a house of a gate. It's a small house next to a shara chatzos. That the shomer sits there, meaning a practical application of this when you walk into a house, sometimes a house has what they call a vestibule. You walk in, it's like there's like a little closet there to put your coats, less than $1 right? And then that leads into the rest of the house. So when we're pesach, shoot derech lalis falali, or you have a pesach, a balcony that you go through in order to get upstairs. Vagina of a deer or a garden, and a deer is what do you call it? Corral. Keturim and mezuzah, they're all part of mezuzah. Kimin shein and masuyin ledira, since they're not meant to since they're not meant to go with it. I jumped the gun, meaning that's stam. A Beis Shar is a guardhouse. It's not meant to live there. But maybe yesh bias a chayv mezuzah pasul for epidemic. Yeah, like that. It's not meant to live. Maybe yesh bias a chayv mezuzah pasul for epidemic. But if you have a regular bias that opens up, and if that was the case I was talking about before, chayav and apa pesach should be nothing lemeshusarabim. Then you would need it, even the door that you go into it through shusarabim. Lochein shari chatzeres, shari mevoyes, shari medinas, vayoras, kulam chayavim mezuzah. That's why all the gates of yards, mavoys, medinas, vayoras, they all chayav mezuzah. Kimin shabatim chayav mezuzah psukim l'sayis. And since all the houses that are chayav mezuzah are open to it, afilu asara batim zep pesuach l'zeb zep pesuach. Even if you have 10 houses, each one opens up into the other one. Afilu tisha titzaydis hein begavan the pesurin. Or b'nini chayav mezuzah kulan chayav. And if the inside one is chayav mezuzah, they're all chayav. L'chein shara pesuach v'nagina l'chatzah. That's why a gate that opens up from the garden to the chatzah chayav mezuzah is chayav mezuzah. Yesharim the Beis Shar and Pesach chayavim afilu ein bias pesuach lehem. A Beis Shar and a Pesach are chayav, even if there's no bias opening them. V'yesh l'kavav v'lo bracha, and you should put it up without a bracha. Right, so that's what we're saying. So if you have these railroaded rooms, then, and each one is smaller than the shir, then you still need it. Right, so like we said, the vestibule or sometimes a room in the back of the house. The question is, if you have a small room that leads into a bathroom, that's the big shaila. It's a machlokes Yeshiv Parako and Shayashim. Right? So, meaning, the rooms that they have outside the bathroom with the sinks. Do you put a mezuzah on there or not? So Shayashim has, and Yeshiv Parako does not have, as far as I remember. Could be a change, but that's what it used to be. Was the opposite? No, it's not. Yeah. Or the opposite. Okay, one has one has the other. Fine. Good Zion. Based on Berfutz. No, but the room that's going into is potter from the mezuzah. It's part of a bathroom. It's not the same shiloh exactly. Correct. Right, but that's true. It's more the YFR one, maybe is not. I don't know. No, probably is also. Right, but it's a bit different. Meaning, but it's no, that's still straight in the bathroom. Oh, also has, yeah. That one for sure you don't put on. Yeah. Okay, let's see. You're dying. Based on Merkutz, a bathhouse, ubursaki, and a tannery, based on tefillah and a mikvah, Kitzur, they're all part of it. She'ein and lediras covered. It's not meant for dira of covered. Meaning because the tannery smells and the mikvah people are not dressed and right of a refes bakar, but a refes of a bakar, meaning for cattle, the cheder shemegadle by ifes, and a room that you put the chickens based on teven, or you put grain, va'etzim, and wood, va'etzim shel yayin, or shel shar mashkin im yesh lehen shir bayis hayamin. If they have a shir bayis, they're chayav. Because it's meant for regular living. It happens to be you're keeping birds in there. Yeah. Aber the yesh paitrim, there are those that say that it is potter, like what you say. Yeah, it's interesting because usually it smells pretty bad there. Right? When you have tinaikus found, or sometimes they wash there, or sometimes they urinate there, you have to cover the mezuzah. Right? Meaning in a child's room, you have a problem. right? Right. So if you know that there's a room that specifically the kids are always running around undressed, then maybe you should have an extra cover on the mezuzah. The dafka is damnus derech harai, but that's only if you use it temporarily. So for al-kisa, then you rely on the cover. But to do a tashmish, to do work there, that's mizyanis. To go in lahamet sham kli l'shoiftim, you put water, like the chamber pots, the dirty water there, ain't lismech ala kisei, then you cannot rely on the kisei. It's a true and shem yad katana. Fine. You need to make any cover that's miyukim, you need to have correct. You need to have an extra cover. Yeah. Yes. Good test. Bias was saying potter to gamma akum darsham potter.
Okay, so what about so what about you have an old person in the room and they have an attendant? You have to take the mezuzah off their room.
Who?
Old person and they have an attendant. They are diapers.
You talking about because it's dirty? That part?
Yeah.
Well, and a chanami, if you're going to change it, either close the door. A lot of times, most mezuzahs are outside the door. So if you close the door, then you don't have a problem. You just shouldn't do it with the door open. And if you do know it's going to be like that, you should 100% put an extra cover on there. Right? You test bias, okay, potter to gamma akum darsham. If you have a bias and a potter that a guy lives there, so then that's potter. So, right, because it can be dangerous. Now, the thing is that what do you do with, apartment buildings that are owned by Yidden, right? They're owned by Yidden, but there's goyim going through there. So pashtus is you don't put a mezuzah up there, right? Fine. Last one, martis, it's a seller. The mezuzahs in a pesach stripes in the aretz, but the mezuzahs are on the ground. Potter. That's talking about, when you have it in Brooklyn on the sidewalk. They have a door in the sidewalk, and you open up the sidewalk, and then the steps. Everybody's familiar with what I'm saying? I've seen it in Brooklyn. They have it, right? Meaning basically your door is laying flat on the ground.
Okay.
Right. So that's part of the light maker mezuzah elikashai medes. It's only called the mezuzah. What do you think? You're not going to have? I hear. Yeah, meaning that's not called a mezuzah. Mezuzah has to be standing up. If it's laying down flat, then it doesn't need. Same thing. Some people have crawl spaces in the attic in the roof. You pull it down and then the steps come down. Right. So that would also not need a mezuzah. That's it. So puffs. Yes. I didn't say didn't do puff. Yeah, good job. All right. Everybody should have a fine diet.
By the way, they're called cellar doors. Cellar doors.
What are they called?
Thank you.
Cellar doors.
Cellar doors. Okay, that makes sense. If you're talking about it,
those are the ones that are like almost they're on the slant, but they're basically horizontal.
Yes.
Right.
What? Yeah.
Are you talking like that? Okay, yeah. They're horizontal.
All right, Zagazman.